So now I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna let Wesley redo it.
Oh no. Shit, I remember. Oh.
Okay, so just think about it in like a procedural step. We're not even going to type code right now. Just type English and tell us what you're trying to do.
Okay. So, I think the first thing I have to do is I gotta get this thing. Axios.
Right. But don't even bother with Axios and JavaScript right now. Just think about what you need to do. So you know you have a backend. You know you have a front end. Well, how do you tie the two together?
So I gotta well, first things first. I want this, right? Get what's the word? Draw from Axios library.
I mean, just I don't know. I would just say use. I normally just keep it simple. Use Axios to do some shit.
To do some thing, and then use Axios to do something, and then I'm pretty sure I'm skipping over like 4 steps, but
that's okay.
This state's just stuck in my mind. Oh.
So don't try to memorize what I just did. Just think about it.
State is just so like cool for some reason. So it just stuck in my head. So like,
okay.
I just want to state. Oh. Oops. Was it like users? Oh crap. Oh wait, no, it's empty, right? Was it right? Oh wait, this looks so messy. Ooh. Anyway. Wait, so use Axios to do something, and then... Crap, I really don't remember what's after that.
Okay, so I will write out what we did in English, and then maybe it'll help jolt your memory. So first thing I did was I got information from our backend.
Right.
I stored that data inside of a variable. And then I stored that variable inside of a temporary state on our front end. And then I, what's a good way to say this without giving it away? I used that variable in order to render the information.
Oh.
Okay. So the Axios is the getting information.
So this part is like... Oh, how do you write it? Right? In the render?
You're very close. You mixed up 2 things.
Oh. Wait, what?
Okay, so...
start the inside. Oh, wait. Is this the step above it, or...?
It's okay. Alright, so I'll do it again, and then I'll have Amy try next. Okay? No! Alright, so first thing I did was component did mount. Because that's the safest place to make a network request. And let me show you this time what a network request is so you can visually see what it does. So we did const response, That's response from the database. So I'm just gonna call it something that makes sense. Await, async, await. Don't worry about async await for now. So it was axios.get, and our URL localhost 3001/users. So this will give us our user data, and we wanted to store that inside of a variable. So response.data. And then now we want to save it inside of a temporary state on our front end. So we have to use this special object called state. So it will be this dot set state. That's our special method that updates this object. It'll be users. So actually, I'm gonna name this users data so it's less confusing. So users data. This will update our state, which we have an empty users array. So this will update that with users data. And after that, or maybe I'll just pause here. So first things first, we need to get the information from our backend and then store it inside of our front end. Okay? But before we do that, I'm going to show you this network request actually happen. So I'm going to share my screen on Google. Let's switch over to that. Okay. Do we see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So inside of our Chrome console, we have a couple things here. We've seen what console does that allows us to debug. Like you output information and see what's available, blah, blah, blah. We saw the elements tab, which shows you the HTML. And then now we're going to learn about the network tab. So we see a request to our backend was made here. Request URL, no wait, that's our front end. So we have to look for something that says 3001, here we go. So localhost 3001/users. We made a GET request, which means we're getting information. And if we go to preview or response, they're the same, it's just different format. Then you see the information that was returned from the backend. So that's what our one-liner axios.get did for us. It created this network request. And if we go to any website, let's go to Google. You're gonna see a ton of requests gets made whenever, so that's how the internet communicates. It makes requests to various websites, like, I don't know what these websites are, but here's Google's API, so it's making requests there, and if I were to search for something, you see it makes more requests. So this is how you debug, basically network requests. You have to go in here and you have to see what was sent and what was received. So down here is where you see what was sent. In this case, it was this XJS. And then over here, you'll see what was received. In this case, it's a lot of confusing stuff, but that's just Google, so we're not gonna bother with that. Ours is much more straightforward. We see an object, well, an array with objects. Cool. Now, let's switch over to Amy. You ready? Okay.
So get information into async. Get did mount.
It's component did mount.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about memorizing this stuff because once we've written it, you could always refer back to old code. So just as long as you have the general idea and understand what's happening.
Something that 3000. Right.
Yeah, for now, just write the concept. Don't worry about getting it to work.
So you go to the Axios, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get the backend.
Yeah.
So you grab the whatever host 3000,
Yeah.
localhost 3001/users. Um, and then I forget.
Okay, so let's have KG pick up from here. You don't have to make it a comment. I mean, you're already typing the code, so yeah, just take out the comment and we'll make it real code.
Are you doing console log to check whether or not the response was correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Response.
Yeah, just have a comma between the quote and response. Yeah.
So you did something with user data.
Right, so we could use our console log. We don't have to brute force through. We could always check what comes out and what's available. We'll just need to uncomment 23 so that our state closes, and close 29 for component did not. Yeah. And now if if you hit save and we all go to localhost 3000, we'll see the console log. Oh, we have an error somewhere. Syntax error 22.
Maybe there's
users. Oh, colon not equal on 22. And then for 27, we need to add await in front of Axios. I'll explain that maybe like in 2 lessons. For now, take my word for it. Yeah, that's right. But so like a brief overview of async await is that you're trying to do something that's not so it's like not linear. So async await allows you to like tell the app to wait for this information before you proceed. And it's a very complicated thing that I just recently started understanding. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to understand what's happening before we get into code that happens simultaneously versus code that happens asynchronously.
Because isn't that more because like when you're using async, it's more so that the computer doesn't read an error if something doesn't give a response right away?
Say that again.
Is it more so that a computer doesn't like lead to an error response if there's no response that comes right away, or?
Yeah, so like if you were trying to access some information that didn't come back yet from your backend, then you'd have a problem. So that's what this await helps with. Because like later on we're gonna have to do response.data, but if we never got a response, we can't do .data on it. So
is that more like fetching multiple different types of requests? Doing multiple requests for the same thing, or?
I mean, it definitely helps with multiple requests because that's where you're most prone to having latency and information not being available yet. But even with one request, you still want to use await because you don't know how long the request could take. Like for faster network speed, maybe like a second. For slower, maybe someone's on mobile, it would take 4 seconds. So it's always safer to just have this await so that it only will proceed once you have the information. Oh, and then as for error handling, I could show you that right now, how that works. So you would put try and catch error, and then you'd put your request inside the try block. And if you catch an error, you could console log the error so that you get an idea of what went wrong. So this could also go in there. So that's how this looks. And this is a very, this is the more modern way of doing this. There is an alternative way, but we could wrap back around to cover alternative ways, just like keep our information slimmer. So for now, this is the preferred way to do network requests and error handling. So it's important that we handle errors, because if you don't, then the app could crash. That's what this catch block does. Okay, but yeah, now we just beefed up our network request, and you were on the right track. We're gonna console log out response, and let's go to Chrome. So what from the response do you want to use?
User data?
I'm looking at it and it looks different. Our data is HTML in this case, so something is off. Oh, okay. So we are trying to make a request to localhost 3001, but our data lives on localhost 3001/users. So that's why our response looks like HTML.
Can't see it.
No, is it dash user?
Yeah, I see that table.
Yep. So now if you hit save and we look at our console again, we'll see different response. Okay, so now we see the data that we want. And we see the data key has the stuff that we want. So KJ or Amy, let's store that data into our state.
So do you do like this dot set state?
Yeah, that one.
Wait, what? No, you do it.
Set state.
You have state above, right?
Yeah, we have to stay on 21. But Amy, before you finish that off, let's move that inside of the try block.
Option X.
So the catch block is for error handling. We want it inside the try block.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, you're back. Oh, nice. So set state has a very particular syntax. You have to do a parentheses and then curly braces. I'll delete the equal signs. And then, yep.
User?
Yep. And we wanted response.data in this case. So users is the key, and we have to give it the value of response.data. No, you were right. It has to be inside.
Well,
Colon. Yep. Now, just delete the space between set state and the parentheses. Okay, cool. So that will effectively update our state with the data coming from our backend. Now, in order to use it inside our render function, we have to do that thing called destructuring. Who wants to take a stab at that?
Wesley.
Yes. I want to use it. Wait, I don't know what to type.
You're close.
Wait, can I call it anything?
So in this case, it has to be users because that's the key we specified.
Okay, so users. I think it's this. Wait, what I have to do?
You want it from state. So
This dot.
yep.
Oh, what's this?
No, let's keep going. You're right.
This dot.
So set state is to update, but we don't want to
so
update.
Can I just this dot state?
Yes. So the only thing you're missing is you have to wrap users inside curly braces. That's just how it
yeah,
looks,
right. Yeah.
So that's the syntax for destructuring. And then now let's console log out users so that we could look at it.
That's only for destructure, right?
Yep. Let's delete the console log on line 29.
Delete or just?
Yeah, that's fine. Now let's save, and then we'll all go to the browser.
My allergies are smacking again.
An array of users. So we do whatever we want with that information now. And that is how you take information from the backend to render it on the front end. Render is going to happen first. It happens first. And then component did mount happens after. And then because we updated state, render will happen a second time. Happens again.
So it's undefined.
Yeah, so this is undefined. This happens, we get information. So then this becomes data is available.